Step outside in 2026 and the skyline twitches with cranes. Under your feet, machines chew new tunnels. At street level, steel frames rise where car parks once stood. London is rebuilding itself while 9 million people keep moving. Rush hour, school runs, Friday nights, all flowing around barricades and orange lights. It's like performing open-heart surgery on a marathoner who refuses to stop running. Billions are on the line. Deadlines tighten. Neighbors count sleepless nights. Engineers count millimeters. A 14-platform rail hub comes together in West London. A new museum races to install its galleries. Deep power tunnels thread silently beneath terraced streets, future-proofing the grid while the city boils kettles and charges buses. Will the payoff be worth the mess? When the hoardings vanish, will London move faster, cleaner, fairer, or simply bigger? The answer starts in the ground. Head west to Old Oak Common and you can feel the scale. This will be a 14-platform super hub, 6 high-speed platforms in a vast underground box, and 8 surface platforms linking the Elizabeth Line, Great Western and Heathrow Express, designed to move up to 250,000 passengers a day. The civil engineering reads like a myth. Crews carved an 850-meter station box, wrapped by what's been called the UK's longest diaphragm wall, over a mile of reinforced concrete, before pouring base slabs up to 2 meters thick and dropping in around 160 columns and tens of thousands of tons of rebar. It's open-heart surgery beneath West London. Would you ride the escalators down into that new cavern on day one? Beyond the station, the London-Birmingham section made big strides underground. By mid-2025, roughly 70% of the bored and mined tunnels were complete, and by late 2025, the project reported finishing the twin-bore tunneling for the opening stretch. Progress in the ground should buy time on the calendar. Or does it? Because the real cliffhanger sits at the other end. Euston. After a pause and redesign, a new delivery company was set up to pursue a leaner station funded through a public-private model, aiming to unlock the oversight development that pays for much of the work. But watchdogs warned in early 2025 that the station, network rail, and underground interfaces still lacked a fully integrated plan. Can a fresh delivery structure untie years of complexity or just reset the clock? For now, Old Oak Common leads London's HS2 story. Concrete hardening, systems going in, a station city taking shape. The question is whether Euston can catch up before the first high-speed trains arrive. Walk north of St. Pancras and you hit hoardings that promise a bigger British library, 12 new stories pressed against the tracks, cranes peering over the red brick icon. The aim is bold. Keep the library public at heart while building a 21st century engine around it. Inside the plan, about 100,000 square feet, becomes new galleries, learning spaces, and reading rooms. Around it, a much larger commercial slab, roughly 600,000 square feet, targets life sciences and tech tenants to bankroll the culture next door. This is a $1.1 billion balancing act. The construction manager coordinates a tight site hemmed in by rail lines, heritage facades, and 2 of London's busiest stations. Think of it like adding a new organ to a living body without stopping the heartbeat. Researchers still arrive, digitization still whirs, school groups still pour in. By 2026, groundworks and enabling packages are the drumbeat. The big vertical rise carries through the late 2020s toward an early 2030s opening. If the mix works, King's Cross St. Pancras cements its role as the UK's knowledge crossroads. If it stumbles, do we risk a great library overshadowed by its own funding model? Before we continue with the video and my further explanation about London megaprojects, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. Follow the Lee River north, and the Olympic Park opens like a stage. On one corner, crews move at exhibition speed. The V&A East Museum, the last big piece of East Bank's cultural puzzle. Inside, curators and electricians share the same countdown clock. Walls are painted at dawn, crates roll in by dusk. The brief is simple and wild. Build a museum that feels like London now, with blockbuster galleries, free thresholds, and space for young creators who grew up within sight of these cranes. The fit-out is a choreography of millimeters. Cases float into place. Climate systems hum to life. A single misaligned bracket can delay an opening. A perfect install can make a room sing. Imagine standing at the doors on opening morning, the canal flashing in the sun, the first crowd pushing through. What would you head for first? When this building switches on, Stratford's cultural circuit lights up end to end. The question is, how bright? London's heartbeat isn't just buses and trains, it's megawatts. Beneath pavements, a new 32.5-kilometer ring of concrete tubes links substations from Wimbledon to Crayford, carrying high-voltage cables far below traffic and tree roots. Crews board the tunnels first, then turn to the delicate work, pulling in cables the weight of small cars, splicing joints in cleanroom conditions, and testing systems that must not blink when half the city makes tea at halftime. Why bury it? Street-level cable upgrades mean ripping up roads for months. Put them 30-60 meters down and you build once, then maintain from shafts without touching a single zebra crossing. It's quieter, safer, and ready for growth. Electrified buses, heat pumps, data centers, even fast chargers on your corner. The hard part now is integration. Each new circuit has to handshake with old assets, protection relays, and substation switchgear. One wrong sequence and you trip a neighborhood. One flawless commissioning and nobody notices at all. Would you trust your Friday night lights to a splice you'll never see? When the final circuit's energized, London gets hidden headroom in the grid, a quiet insurance policy for a louder electric future. On the dock edge at Canary Wharf, a new kind of skyscraper climbs, a 23-story purpose-built lab tower with nearly 1 million square feet of wet labs, write-up space, and communal science floors. Think fume hoods instead of corner offices, vibration-damped slabs instead of trading floors. If the skyline is a graph of London's economy, this spike shows where the curve is heading. Building vertical labs is like stacking operating theaters. Airflow, clean utilities, and waste routes must thread through every level without a single crossed line. Supersized floor plates brace for heavy kit, lifts are oversized for freezers and centrifuges, plant takes entire terraces. And then there's the question of neighbors. How do you keep delicate experiments stable above a working quay? The prize is huge, to anchor biotech jobs right in Docklands and plug London deeper into the golden triangle of research. Would you rather rent a bench here, steps from the Jubilee line, or bike to a suburban science park? Zoom out from single buildings and you hit projects the size of small cities. At Canada Water, a 53-acre plan is stitching streets, parks, homes, and workspaces between the river and the overground. Pile rigs share the skyline with herons. Meanwhile, ground floors are framed for shops, clinics, cafes, the everyday glue. New squares step down to the docks with roughly a dozen acres of public space planned so you can eat your lunch on the water and still make the Jubilee line. The tension? Deliver thousands of homes and millions of square feet of workspace without losing the soul of Rotherhithe. Would you move into a brand new neighborhood if the corner shop and the library feel right from day one? Head north to Brent Crosstown and the scale jumps again. A new station has already plugged the site into the rail map. Now housing blocks, schools, playing fields, and offices rise around it. The promise is a park town, powered by low-carbon energy and daily life amenities you can walk to. But can construction speed keep pace with demand? And can community arrive as quickly as concrete? When cranes finally leave, will these places feel inevitable or earned? Before we continue with the video and my further explanation about London megaprojects, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. For years, Earl's Court was a pause button. Fences, sketches, arguments. In 2026, the button lifts. Piling rigs arrive on a 40-plus acre void to seed a new district. Around 4,000 homes, with a big slice affordable, cultural venues, offices, and parks stitched across rail cuttings and utilities like a surgeon closing a complex wound. The challenge is choreography, decking over tracks, threading sewers, phasing streets so first residents don't live on an island. First openings circle the turn of the decade, but the verdict lands in how it feels on a Tuesday night. Kids in the park, lights in shop fronts, footsteps to West Kensington and beyond. Would you measure success in skyline shots or in the heat from a bakery at 7 a.m.? London is still a building site, but the hoardings are starting to speak. What story do you want them to tell?